My nigga, this is dedication.
You already know the vibes. Welcome to the Pod Pal official event, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to the stage, we got Aaron P. Woods, founder and CEO in the building. Keith Marcel, head of the UX.
Yo, podcast.
Tanya Woods, Jonathan Jones,
I need the speakers to the
Gayon
stage.
Bramwell, y'all. Let's go. Podcasters of color, y'all.
I need some real nigga reparations. Or I run up in your bank just for recreation.
Where's everyone else? Hey, we just want to welcome you to this event. Thank you so much for showing up. I'm the founder and CEO of Pod Pal. We've been working on this actually for 3 years. 2 years ago, we were at Podcast Movement 19 in Orlando. Some of you guys might recognize us from there. We were passing out flyers. We were kind of talking about an idea, a concept of building an all-in-one podcast management platform. And all we had at that time was just a little screenshot. It wasn't even built yet. As a matter of fact, there was no code behind it. It was literally just a picture. But what we did was, we wanted to see what was the temperature for an application of that nature. And during that event, we actually had 187 people sign up for the application without having even built it. Since then, we've been working very hard over the last couple of years. I still have a full-time job, so does Keith, our head of UX. I have 4 children, he has 2 children. We're family men, husbands, fathers that have built this without raising a single dime of capital, not even $1. And it's very important to us, obviously as a black-owned business, to throw this event and sponsor this event. In 2019, we were there as participants, and we looked at each other, as we're handing out our little 2x2 square cards that, didn't even have our names on them at that time. And we said, we're going to sponsor this event the next time that it happens. And so here we are. Yeah. And it really comes from an authentic place. I just want to let you guys know, as obviously we all know because we walk in this black skin every day, black and brown skin, women, sometimes we are overlooked, not seen, not even given really the due respect that we deserve because we're amazing creators, we're amazing people. You see the displays here. Everything that you see was created by the 2 folks you see sitting here on stage. No marketing staff, no agency, and so, sometimes that's what it takes. But an event like this, what we're hoping for, in the future is that it's not just people who look like us who show up, right? We know the systemic racism that we have in our country and the things that we're trying to overcome, and so it's very important that this room has people of all colors here, and that's exactly what we want this to be. Yeah. So thank you for showing up. We will have 3 raffles throughout this event, and we'll have more time to network after, drink, and all that kind of stuff. What we would like to do is invite the other speakers to the stage. Please come on stage in just a minute. We'll have DJ Quest introduce you. This is the time to have fun, let your hair down, be unapologetically you, okay? This is an event for us to just be us, okay? And say that again? Oh yeah, I want to shout out a couple of partners that we do have here today. You saw on the step banner back there with the Hennessy logo. They have backed us for this party and have provided a little bit of giveaways that you can pick up at the swag table, the free swag table. There are also some items that we have for sale back there, T-shirts for $25, Cash App, Pod Pal, okay? Go ahead and, cop that, get the drip, and go home with something, that would commemorate this event for you and this experience for you. I also want to shout out to Tagboard, what you see running on the screens here left and right. Tagboard, Josh Decker is our startup advisor. He's the founder and CEO of Tagboard and graciously allowed us to use their interactive media for this event. So I want to also say thank you to Tagboard. So without further ado, DJ Quest, invite the others to the stage. We're based out in Atlanta,
Now
y'all.
coming to the stage, we got Miss Tanya Woods.
I got my peaches out in Georgia. Oh yeah. I get my weed from California.
That's my wifey, y'all.
Took my chick up to the north, yeah.
The Equal Podcast. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, that's it. And I see you.
Next up, we got Jonathan Jones, Beyond the Ball Podcast. And last but sure not least, Gayon Bramwell, She Ventures Podcast.
Yeah, and I'll be right here with you till the end. I got my peaches out
So, what we're going to talk about, I left my iPad over here, don't worry about it, are a couple of things. One of the really cool things about how we've built, this company is that it's really built for and by podcasters. And so we just want to take a minute to kind of make sure that you guys left with some understanding of what it is that we built and why we built it, okay? And so who we have up here, Gayon, Jonathan Jones, and also my wife, are all podcasters who have been involved with sort of the process of building this application. It was actually inspired by my wife, who was having a little bit of trouble managing her first podcast. And the administrative process, we'll get into that in a minute, but essentially, I was wanting to come up with something that might actually help her along her journey, and then discovered the fact that a lot of podcasters are struggling with podcast administration. There are, the average podcaster is using about 5 to 8 different applications just to do, something very simple, which is get their voice out to the world. So Gayon and Jonathan are actually in our beta testers program. We met them online through interactions on Instagram and what have you, and they have actually been helping us test the product as we've been building over the last 8 months. And we sponsored them to actually join us here at Podcast Movement. They've been at the PodPal Airbnb. We set it out right, y'all, and we've been having a great time this week. So without further ado, I just want to kind of get into some questions with the panel here of kind of why did they start podcasting? What was your passion and reason for doing it? And what did you want out of it personally and professionally? Can you kind of share your experiences?
Yeah, I guess I'll start. Hello. I'm Tanya, as he said, and my podcast is the Inkfully Podcast. And essentially the name of it is based off the premise that our lives are written in ink. There's no backspaces, there's no cancels, there's no delete buttons. But beauty and redemption, I believe, emerge when we embrace that and then share it with each other. So I exist in a space of where vulnerability meets truth, and I exist to encourage women, encourage mothers, encourage marriages, to really just thrive in that space. Like, let's be real about what this really is, but also how can we encourage each other to keep going. And that was like my passion. I mean, that's been my baby it took me 5 years. I'm sure people can relate to even launch my podcast, right? Just because of that fear and like, do I sound awkward? Owning your voice and all those things. And that was really the passion behind why I started my podcast and why I pushed through some of these adversities just to get my voice out there.
Jonathan, how about you? What got you into this space?
Yeah, so for me, it was just the aspect that graduating college, I was trying to figure out like what's next, what's life, and I was a student athlete. So understanding, talking with student athletes and hearing their struggles and just trying to figure out and navigate life, I started doing Beyond the Ball podcast. And with Beyond the Ball, we focus on stories, strategies, and successes, ultimately to help student athletes succeed beyond their degree. So just introducing them to what other opportunities are out there past the degree, past graduation, and just helping them, sharing different stories and interviewing people, just giving real life and tangible strategies.
I love that. Gayon, how about, why don't you give people a little bit of information about how what got you into podcasting, why you love it so much?
Mine was bluntly, I hated my job, my 9 to 5. And I really, outside of just a career change, I really wanted freedom and autonomy, and I wanted to be creative and expressive. I was going through a time period where I felt like my authentic voice was muzzled by my job, muzzled by corporate America, muzzled by my own religion, family. And I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and start this podcast and talk about some stuff that,
You don't get to talk about.
I don't get to talk about, So that's my story.
So it kind of freed you up to kind of release that passion inside?
Oh, yeah.
So you wanted to just go right into it, and you thought, okay, starting podcast, easy, great. I'm just doing audio, there's no video. But
Right.
Then you saw the challenges immediately,
Listen.
right? So
Okay, are we going to talk about these challenges, or are we going to talk about these
We're
challenges?
going to talk about these challenges. What's the first one? What was the beginning where you're like, whoa?
First of all, if any of you have started a podcast while working a 9 to 5, you know that you jump into some unknown territories, right? And funny story, I just got like a free tutorial from Cliff Ravenscraft. Does anybody know Cliff Ravenscraft? Like godfather of podcasting, as far as the free tutorials before everybody monetized it. I just took an Excel spreadsheet, wrote down all the tasks, and I would go through it. But
from the time of me being passionate to trying to produce a podcast, I was like, this is just too much work. I don't need another job. I just wanted to podcast.
I'm telling you.
Right, so you felt like kind of like an admin plus the
Oh,
creator.
yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and you're going through that.
It was, in the early stages, there was a lot of procrastination mixed with not knowing how to simplify the process, right? I'm not a project manager by trade, so for me, it was like, I don't know how to simplify this to make it sustainable in the beginning.
Excellent. What about you, Jonathan? What about you?
Yeah. So for me, one of the biggest challenges was very similar to Gayon, and it was just ultimately finding a tool to where I could really just simplify the process. Because just like her, I mean, it's like, for me, it just seemed like it was so heavy just trying to go in and do all this stuff for my episode and get the message out versus just it being easy and simplified. So that would probably be one of the biggest challenges for me was just, man, I just wanted to save some time, man, because I felt like I was wasting so much time.
Understood.
Yeah.
Tanya?
Yeah, I think we're all saying the same thing, but one thing that I remember distinctly feeling was I launched my show and I put so much work into it. Like I went to a studio and got my photos done for my album cover. I felt like I was like releasing an album, right? Because I put out like 5 episodes at launch and I was telling everyone about it. And then when I was done putting out those 5 episodes, like I didn't want to do it anymore. I was like, I just released my EP. Like, you know, this is my work of art. Enjoy it. This is all you're going to get. And that's not how it's supposed to go, right? You're supposed to continue on, and consistency is so important to build your audience. And what ended up happening was I reached a breaking point, right? The challenge for me was, okay, now I'm at a point where I'm getting downloads like quickly, and people are resonating with the show, and they're emailing me, and all these amazing things started happening.
Sponsorships.
You know, and yeah, sponsorships came, but I didn't have a system. Like I went from those 5 episodes to like trying to stay ahead of my show, and it was really frustrating because I got so bogged down. And I remember one specific night, like I put out an episode, I was editing till like 4 in the morning, and he can attest to it. I literally just like fell and curled up into a ball and just started crying because I was like, I'm done. Like I can't sustain this. I can't sustain this. And I feel like maybe that's a dramatic version, but in some way or another, I'm sure we can all relate to this frustration of like, I want to continue to do this, but my system feels a little bit broken. Or maybe you have a system that works, but it's still a little bit like too many tabs open. You know what I mean? I got this tab, and so yeah, that's where I found myself.
Yeah, no, and you know, podcasting doesn't have to be hard. We make it easy, and Keith can talk a little bit more about why our mantra is a podcaster's best friend and why we're leading with that as a company and kind of how that transitions into the design of the app and everything that we do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure all of you have been in the hosting platforms. You've been out in maybe other tools that exist out there that allow for project management. And in a lot of spaces, you know, the process even within those are convoluted. Or you're moving into a different app and you have to still create a process to make it work for podcasting. And so when Aaron came to me with the concept of PodPal, when he came to me with the mantra, and he said, can we build this? You know, how can we design this? I really wanted to take it in a way that was simple and unified experience that made you feel taken care of when you dropped in the app. And through our beta testing program and over the last couple of years of interviewing over 200 podcasters and getting their feedback about what their struggles are and what their challenges are, just like this crew up here, you know, when using PodPal, that was one of the first responses we got was, you know, I feel taken care of. I feel it's simple, it's easy. I like this. I think I can podcast. I think I'm going to be successful. So we really want to embody a podcaster's best friend, and that's where we start with every design decision. It's where we start with every design strategy and conversation as we continue to build out new features within PodPal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to say much more than that. You know, there'll be more opportunity for you all to learn, you know, about the application. We would love for you to sign up, you know, for our free account. What we actually offer, if you're just getting started out, is free hosting and management for your first 6 published episodes on PodPal right now if you start an account. And that's going to be forever that way. We have a free plan because we want people to be able to get started and get that foundation up underneath them and before they even have to transact with us, right? And we also offer unlimited planning of your episodes in the platform. So you can literally plan out your entire first season, you know, ahead of time, kind of get an idea of what, you know, what your content strategy is going to be. and then get on a plan with us and hopefully stay with us long term. So we're gonna actually go to a raffle really quickly. Would that be nice? Do you guys have some raffle tickets in your hands already out there? The early comers. So this one is for the early comers. We're gonna give away right now a Paw Pal T-shirt, as well as a free 1-year subscription to Paw Pal to whoever we pull from this bag. So I need my man with the bag, Ian, my brother from another mother, Ian Joshua. Yes, sir. We got a T-shirt back here. So we got a little Paw Pal drip. This is for the people who who came on time. This one. Okay. I hope you're still here. 722-354. No, you're kidding me. What? That's my father who came up. He flew into
This
town.
looks bad, Aaron. This
From
looks bad.
Jacksonville, Florida.
That can't count.
I don't believe it.
Dad's got a podcast.
We talked about this.
This can't be real. Let me see this ticket.
Congratulations, Mr. Woods.
722-354, y'all. Come on, give me a round of applause for that. You get a can you fit that? It's a medium. That's why I asked. Listen, we're gonna go ahead and get the networking back going. DJ's gonna start spinning, and then we'll interrupt for another raffle. So if you haven't got a raffle ticket, don't go getting another one, y'all. Get one ticket. If you haven't gotten a raffle ticket, please go see Ian Joshua's store right here.
Can we give away one of our Can we give away one of our shirts?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's sponsored by Paw Pal.
Yeah, we can do
sponsor
that.
this raffle.
Come on, yeah, we can do that.
Let's do one more.
One shirt of your choice, back there. All right. Now, Keith's dad is here too, y'all, my uncle. So, I'm telling you, it's not rigged. I'm just warning you. 722-326.
That's really close to 4.
It is.
They came in together.
It is really close. Does anybody have that? 722-326. Are you here? You don't want a free T-shirt.
All right, let's try this again.
Try one more time here. 722-358. Not here? 722-358.
Don't lose your ticket.
Somebody in the bathroom.
These people didn't like the party. 722-348. Where you at?
Okay.
722-348.
All right.
Come on. Meet me back there at the table in just a second to pick out your shirt. Okay? DJ, you back on it. DJ the Kid Quest in the building.
Thanks, guys.
Networking time, go grab a drink. We'll have another raffle, but this is all about you. Party with us for a little bit, and we'll see you at the iHeart party. Oh, I should mention, the next 2 raffles are for some nice equipment, okay? Podcast microphones, and the final raffle at the end of this networking hour is an entire podcast studio. Don't leave.
You got a $100 bill, get your hands up. You got a $50 bill, get your hands up. You got a $20 bill, get your hands up. You got a $10 bill, get your hands up. Single ladies, I can't hear y'all. Single ladies, make noise. Single ladies, I can't hear y'all. Single ladies, make noise. All the chicken heads, be quiet. All the chicken heads, be quiet.
Rachel?
All the chicken heads.
Rachel to the front of the stage, please.
You know I used to beat that block. Now I beat the block.
I hate you beat the block, but I don't like to keep the streets. Know that you the type that like to keep them on the leash. I'm known to walk alone, but I'm alone for a reason. Sending me a drink ain't appeasing. Believe me, I'm hard. It's for a reason.
I be on it, now be on it all day. I be on it, now be on it all day. I be on it, now be on it all day. I I be on it, I be on it all day. I be on it, I be on it, I be on it. I be on it, I be on it, I be on it. I be on it, I be on it, I be on it. I be on it, I be.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me. I don't wanna die for them to miss me. Yes, I see the things that they wishing on me. Hope I got some brothers that outlive me. They gon' tell the story, it was different with me. God's plan, God's plan. I hold back, sometimes I won't. Yeah. I feel good, sometimes I don't.